As we've seen in recent months in the Ukraine-Russia war and Israel-Iran conflict, AI is being rapidly integrated into military systems. From autonomous drones to AI-powered battlefield analysis, the role of artificial intelligence in conflict is growing at an exponential rate. But with this technological leap comes a sticky ethical question. Is it right to delegate the act of killing to a machine? In our quest for military advantage, are we on the verge of creating a world where algorithms have the final say on who lives and who dies? For decades, the trend in warfare has been towards greater precision and removing soldiers from harm's way. AI is seen by many as the ultimate evolution of this trend. Think about drone warfare. In the not-so-distant past, a human pilot, thousands of miles away, would analyze a video feed and make the final decision to launch a strike. Now, AI algorithms have been developed that can potentially identify, track, and engage targets without direct human intervention. These are referred to as lethal autonomous weapons systems, or LAWS, or often in the press as kamikaze drones. We've seen versions of these weapons deployed by Ukraine this year in both air and sea versions. While they may still be limited in their abilities, we can expect such systems to improve quickly. AI is also revolutionizing battlefield analysis and intelligence operations. It used to be that a human analyst sifted through mountains of satellite imagery, communication intercepts, and other data for weeks to find a critical piece of intelligence. An AI system, on the other hand, can process that same information in seconds, identifying enemy positions, predicting movements, and highlighting potential threats. Did the Mossad use such a system to help them plan and execute their recent carefully coordinated and precise attacks on Iran? Some analysts seem to think so. Those who support the military application of AI argue that this technology, through precise targeting and accurate analysis, could actually make war less deadly. As an example, they point out how imprecise bombing was in the past, resulting in massive civilian casualties and extreme infrastructure damage. Precisely targeted AI-guided systems make indiscriminate bombing unnecessary. For example, a small explosive drone only hitting the apartment where a nuclear scientist lives instead of reducing the entire area to rubble. Their assertion is that an AI system could, in theory, adhere strictly to the laws of war, targeting only combatants and, for the most part, avoiding civilian casualties with a high level of precision. They also think that by analyzing vast data sets, AI could provide commanders with a much clearer picture of the battlefield, leading to better strategic decisions that could shorten conflicts and reduce overall suffering by both soldiers and civilians. They say that they're offering a more humane vision of future conflicts, a world where war is more surgical, more precise, and ultimately less tragic for most people. Some even say that leaders might become more hesitant to initiate conflict if they know they're going to be the primary target instead of the soldiers and civilians under their rule, their pawns, so to speak. Putting aside the whole "can war be ethical at all" debate, this utopian view of algorithmic warfare masks a darker, more complex reality. The first major ethical hurdle is the problem of bias. As we know, AI systems learn from the training data they are fed, and as is often the case, that data reflects existing human biases, which means that the AI will not only learn those biases, it will, in all likelihood, amplify them. We've seen this in current consumer-grade large language model AI systems, where they have shown biases inherited from those who coded and trained them. Imagine if an AI targeting system was trained on data that disproportionately identified individuals of a certain ethnicity, or even wearing particular clothes as potential threats. The result could be discriminatory targeting on a horrific scale, all while being presented as an objective data-driven decision. Then there's the risk of unintended escalation. The speed at which AI can operate could create a dangerous feedback loop. In a tense standoff, two opposing AI systems could misinterpret each other's actions, leading to a rapid and devastating escalation of conflict before any human has a chance to intervene. The flash crash of the stock market in 2010, caused by earlier generation machine learning trading algorithms, is a warning of how quickly automated systems can spiral out of control. This brings us around to the most fundamental ethical dilemma, the delegation of life or death decisions. When a human soldier makes a mistake in the field, there is a clear chain of command and a system of accountability. But who is to blame when an autonomous weapon makes the wrong call? Is it the programmer who wrote the code or loaded training data, the manufacturer who built the machine, the commander who deployed it, or is it no one at all? Accountability is an essential part of effective military leadership, a point driven home to officer candidates. At least it was when I went through this training years ago. This accountability vacuum is one of the most chilling aspects of AI warfare. It creates a situation where no single individual may be held responsible for the actions of a lethal autonomous system, taking the military tradition of passing the buck up to a whole new level. The International Committee of the Red Cross has repeatedly raised concerns about this, emphasizing that for any weapon system, there must be meaningful human control. But what constitutes meaningful is a subject of intense debate. Is it enough for a human to be in the loop, able to veto the AI's decision, or must they make the final deadly targeting decision themselves? Just how critical is this need for human oversight, human accountability? In my view, the final decision to use lethal force should remain firmly in human hands, since the moral and legal responsibility for taking a human life must rest with a human being, not a machine. But there's still the question of where and when this lethal force decision is made. When a commander acts upon intelligence provided by an AI system, when an operator deploys a fire and forget drone, when a remote drone pilot identifies a potential target on a grainy screen seconds before a strike. There are international efforts underway to address these challenges and questions, but as with many such discussions, there's more buffet lines and cocktail parties than any meaningful discussions. But the debate has come down to a few talking points. Some argue that outright bans on autonomous weapons would stifle innovation and bring back more indiscriminate methods of conflict. Some mention that a ban would put technologically advanced nations who followed such an agreement at a disadvantage, while allowing rogue states and non-state actors to develop and deploy these weapons. Those who support restrictions or outright bans maintain that the potential for catastrophic error and the erosion of human moral responsibility are simply too great a risk to bear. Their hope is that by acting against these weapons now, it would preempt tragedies like those in the 20th century, such as poison gas and atomic bombs. So what is the ethical choice? Should we rush headlong into a future where autonomous machines make life and death decisions, lured by the promise of a more efficient and less costly, less deadly form of conflict? Should we pause or even ban the development of these systems, insisting that even in the brutal calculus of war, there are some lines that must never be crossed? Is there some kind of middle ground possible here? As we can see in the ongoing conflicts today, this technology is developing at a breathtaking pace, especially when serving as a force multiplier for smaller nations with fewer resources. Soon, the technology may well advance to the point where the window to establish clear, ethical guidelines and international norms is closed. The decisions we make today will shape the battlefields of tomorrow and determine the very nature of war for generations to come. The question at hand isn't whether AI can fight our wars. It most likely can, and is already doing so to some degree. The question is whether it should. Yes, it's that classic Ian Malcolm point from Jurassic Park, applied to AI rather than dinosaurs. My guess is that regardless of the serious ethical concerns, these weapon systems will be developed because, as we have seen, even the rudimentary ones recently deployed have been quite effective. As I mentioned previously, my take is that human accountability and control is essential in such weapon systems, even if larger ethical concerns about war remain unanswered. Exactly where this should be placed is debatable, of course, but it shouldn't be too far removed so as to obfuscate responsibility and accountability. I would hope that the cold and precisely calculated targeted nature of AI weapons would make conflict more rare, but human nature being what it is, I don't think it will. What's your take on the ethics of delegating the act of killing to a machine? Where do you think the ethical line should be drawn? Let me know what you think in the comments and help support the channel by liking, subscribing, and watching another video.